I think that a lot of Pokemon fans would say that Generations 3 and 4 were the golden age of Pokemon spin-offs, with such beloved titles as Mystery Dungeon, Colosseum, Ranger, and lots more. But among all the exciting games that deviated from the usual formula, one particular title seems to fall out of the spotlight more often than the others. One that I don't see many people talk about these days. Of course, I am talking about PokéPark, a Generation 4 spin-off game for the Wii. I feel like when it comes to PokéPark, you either love it or you've never played it. I played it when I was a kid when it came out, and I was obsessed with it. It left a lasting enough impression that I thought about it a whole lot the years after, until just recently I decided to sit down and play through it once more for old time's sake. And wow, did it leave me crying and thinking fondly back on a simpler time. I have a lot to say about this game, so let's get into it. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is PokéPark? Well, it was initially released December 5th, 2009 in Japan, only seeing a North America release the next year on November 1st, 2010. Released just at the end of Generation 4's lifespan, it included many Pokemon from every previous gen up to Sinnoh. You would take notice of that pretty easily as soon as you lay eyes on the giant Dialga and Palkia-shaped mountains in the first area, despite the fact that neither of them are present in the game at all. This was a game heavily aimed for kids, which may seem like a given considering it's Pokemon, but this game was heavily aimed for kids. There isn't anything overly challenging in the game, and everything is progressed through a series of fun mini-games. And it's only 10 hours long, but you know what? I still love it. Like I just mentioned, PokéPark is really just a bunch of fun mini-games scattered about world exploration. You run around, find Pokemon, and become their friends by besting them in various types of challenges. There's chasing, where you need to run and bump into them while they run away from you. It's very simple, but they mix it up with very fast Pokemon, flying Pokemon, Pokemon that attack you while running. Honestly, some of the chases in this game will make you sweat. I've had a lot of last-second wins with some really fast opponents. Then there's battles, featuring a very simple but still enjoyable combat system. As Pikachu, you can tackle, Thunderbolt, or Iron Tail your foes. There's a neat little dodge move as well. It never gets too complex, and a lot of the time battles just boil down to dodging your foe, attacking, running away, dodging, attacking again, but they never last too long, and it's still fun to go up against various kinds of Pokemon. There's also hide and seek, where a Pokemon will hide themselves somewhere in the area for you to find them. To be honest, this is my least favorite of the befriending challenges. My issue is that they never really give you a proper scope of where the Pokemon is hiding, and you just sort of have to walk around everywhere trying to track them down. I know that's kind of how hide and seek works, but I just think it would be a bit more engaging if they limited the area you can look in to make it a bit less overwhelming to figure out where they could possibly have gone. The other challenges are much less common than the first three. There's also the odd Pokemon who will ask you to solve a quiz, and then some will ask you to complete an obstacle course that they set up. It's enough variety to always make me want to talk to each Pokemon to see what they want to do to become friends, and sometimes you'll get surprised by a slow Pokemon wanting to chase, or a weak Pokemon wanting to battle. They all have their own little strengths and preferences. Also, this is semi-unrelated, but it's interesting to point out this is one of the few games where Pokemon actually use their anime saying their names' voices, instead of their cries from the main series. I actually quite like it. I think it fits the childish, fun atmosphere of PokéPark better than the cries would. And it's fun to hear these silly voice lines in a game, especially Bronzong's. The other really fun thing about befriending Pokemon is that making new friends draws in even more Pokemon to each area. Like for example, befriending Turtwig in the Meadow Zone will cause Torterra to move in. It's really fun to see each area fill out more with more Pokemon inhabitants, the more you make friends. And that isn't the only way to do it either. There are other unique ways to make Pokemon appear. For example, some Pokemon in the beach zone only show up if you recycle various glass bottles along the shoreline, and some only show up in the iceberg zone if you help decorate the snow tree with Delibird. So not only can you help improve and expand each area, you can also draw in more Pokemon to live there. It's a really satisfying experience and gives you lots to do each time you arrive in a new area. Outside the world exploration and befriending Pokemon, there's also the main minigames, which they call attractions. They're stationed all around the world and are run by various Pokemon, and completing them is the way you progress through the game. They basically all use motion controls, of course, because it is a Wii game after all, and believe me, they cover every base. Tilting, swinging, shaking, pointing, they've got it all. My favorite part of the attractions is that you get to play as the Pokemon you made friends with. Some Pokemon are especially skilled at particular games, and you can also have fun by challenging yourself to play as less skilled Pokemon and still trying to reach the goal. Regardless who you play as, you are required to hit the goal of every attraction in the game to complete it, with 14 attractions in total. That generally covers the entirety of the gameplay. There's some other miscellaneous things, like the ability to upgrade Pikachu. You get berries as rewards for completing attractions and befriending Pokemon, which are essentially your currency to spend on upgraded abilities such as health, speed, and attacks. It's far from being a complex game, but I always kept really busy with it as a kid, and I think that's just the perfect variety of things to do for a young gamer. It's implied at the start of the game that Pikachu exists in the normal human world, along with his 3 friends, Charmander, Chikorita, and Piplup, a starter from Kanto, Johto, and Sinnoh. Sorry, Hoenn. While out on a stroll, they run into Mew, who opens up a portal in the ground. Piplup causes everyone to fall into it, taking them all to the wondrous PokéPark. Upon arrival, Mew informs Pikachu that a great danger is threatening the PokéPark. The Sky Pavilion has lost its magical shards, and if they don't get gathered up and returned, it could fall from the sky and destroy everything. Pikachu has to set out to explore the world, reunite the Zone Keepers, and return the shards up to the Sky Pavilion. It's a really simple and cute setup, with casual reminders throughout the story that there's an ever-looming threat of the entire world ending unless this one Pikachu can fix everything. But of course, he doesn't really have to do it alone. Along your adventure, you reunite with your 3 friends, who all end up doing their own things to help you in your quest. A good chunk of the main story involves fixing a shattered bond between 3 Zone Keepers, being Venusaur, Empoleon, and Blaziken. Each friend, correlating with their types, helps you in convincing the Zone Keepers to become friends again. And really, that's the entire message PokéPark pushes throughout its narrative. The power of friendship fixes everything. A lot of people seem to hate this kind of story, and to be honest, I had a part of my life where I wasn't really too into it myself. But oh boy, have I ever grown out of that. Playing this game again was a breath of fresh air. The scene with Empoleon was one that hit me especially hard. He was hurt by the fight with Venusaur and Blaziken, and locked himself away behind a frozen gate, determined to develop a steel mind so he never has to get hurt again. Only through Pikachu and Piplup's determined friendship does he realize it doesn't have to be this way. He recognizes their steel will to reunite him with his friends and save PokéPark, reopening his heart for love again. Yes, of course it's cheesy, but I think this sort of cheese is exactly what I needed these days. Maybe it's what a lot of us need, and I think that's why this game left such a lasting impression, even stronger than when I played it as a kid. And that's probably what makes this game stand out from a lot of other Pokemon spin-offs as well. There already aren't many that exclusively star Pokemon, but it's not just every day you get to see Pikachu walk up to Rayquaza, play a balloon minigame you set up, and then become besties. It's heartwarming, really, or maybe I'm just weird. Either way, I love this game's story and the kind of messages it has. The ending sequence is especially good to me. The Sky Pavilion has a whole new atmosphere you haven't seen before in this game. It's quiet, isolated, and peaceful. Here you have to best Mew in challenges you've played throughout the game. Battles, obstacles, and a real intense final game of chase. You do all this to strengthen your friendship with Mew, until it's finally strong enough to fully repair the Sky Prism and save PokéPark. After your grand adventure, you're treated to a hot air balloon ride and a beautiful fireworks display with all your friends. No, there wasn't a big bad grand villain, an evil organization trying to end the world or anything like that. There was just a lot of misunderstandings and bad blood, and patching up everyone's relationships was the key to save the world. Just using the power of friendship to solve the apocalypse. Isn't that sweet? And just as one quick note, Mew has the absolute cutest voice line in this entire game, so I'm just gonna play it a few times so you all can enjoy it. PokéPark is not really a game I would just recommend to anybody. In fact, I think the majority of people would find it to be quite too easy or boring to play. But to anybody out there who likes Pokemon and thinks they could use a little power or friendship in their life, I cannot recommend PokéPark enough. It's the sort of game that definitely leaves me wanting more. And lucky for us, they did give us more, 2 years later in the form of PokéPark 2. And wouldn't you know it, I replayed it too. There's a lot more to say about it. Like, a lot. This game is good, and it does way more than the first game did with its story. But that is, hopefully, for another video. Thank you for watching.